Morning. Had some thoughts over the last couple of days. Jeepers. Sun's shining on the dash of my car. Very bright. Anyway. I've come to a realization. We are beyond idiocracy. Let me explain why. But first, we're going to go back in history a little bit. You know, it used to be that if you wanted to know something, be knowledgeable about something, actually be able to hold your ground in a debate, on whatever topic, you had to read a book or attend a lecture. You had to read up on something, on a topic, or listen to somebody who was well versed in a topic in order to become well versed yourself. So that required going to maybe lectures or visiting the library, checking out books. It involved taking notes and actually learning, putting material in your head. It encouraged thought. It required thought. All that has been steadily on the decline for some time. And I remember right after 9/11, September of 2001. Yeah, I'm old. I was about 20 at the time. And I distinctly remember George W. Bush reading whatever script was written for him, talking about the upcoming conflict in the Middle East in response to the attack on American soil. And I remember him saying, using the phrase, "We will prevail." Now, I highly doubt W even knew what he was saying, but I noticed a lot of people after that point started using that same phrase. We will prevail. Your average slob who had never used the word in his life, or used the phrase in his life, or anything similar to that phrase, was suddenly saying, we will prevail. You and I, if we were to be talking like that, we'd probably say something like, we'll win. We'll come through this okay. We'll beat them. Something like that. You know, we will prevail. It's kind of highfalutin terms for your average American. And yet your average American was running around saying, we will prevail. Why? Because he was simply parroting what had been said from the president's podium. The pipe just doesn't want to stay lit. Anyway, that was probably my first introduction to that sort of thing as an adult. But then I started noticing other phrases and slogans that people were using all the time. Now, phrases and slogans and mantras, chants, all those things, you don't really encourage thought. They evoke a feeling, a reaction. There's no real thought involved. But you see them all over t-shirts, bumper stickers, signs. I'm not going to quote any of them because they might tick off some of the people who actually believe in these chants and mantras. But my point is that people like to repeat things that make them feel good or that they feel back up what they've chosen to believe. There's no thought. It's easy. It's easy because you don't have to think. Thinking is work. And W. Bush showed that people will, well, it's not just W, but a lot of, throughout history, going way far back, people have shown that they like to repeat whatever their chosen talking heads will say on television, the radio. They like quotes. But see, none of those are substitutes for original thought. Jump ahead a little bit, and then you have the rise of search engines. Well, now nobody has to go to the library. Now people don't really have to go to listen to anybody, really. Just Google it. Or whatever search engine you prefer. And so you end up with Wikipedia answers to every debate you run across. I remember a long era where I'd get into discussions with people, and out of curiosity, I'd look up what they said, and sure enough, it was almost word for word from Wikipedia, which we all know is a paragon of accurate, unbiased information. Fewer people were reading books. More people were just going to Wikipedia or Snopes or just Googling it. And so you'd get into these discussions with people who've been Googling things, listening to the mantras, repeating what the talking heads are saying, and you're just getting these variations on, well, Brawndo has what plants crave. That's where we reached idiocracy. But now, we've reached a whole new level. We've reached the post-literate era. Post-literate meaning people don't read anymore. And they don't. We still have the slogans, we still have the mantras and the chants, we still have the talking heads. Yeah. And that does handicap people's ability to reason. But now I've noticed when I get into discussions and debates with people, I'm not even getting that anymore. Now, I'm getting responses that people are showing me from AI, where they take what I say, plug it into AI, whether we're talking ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini, you name it. And they say, see, you're wrong. They'll either read it to me, screenshot it, send it to me, or just cut, copy, and paste. See, you're wrong. This AI engine drew from whatever sources and has shown that you're wrong. There's no such thing as an unbiased AI, folks. I hate to break it to you. People are behind those algorithms. Answers come through very specific tailoring to fit certain agendas and schools of thought. But here's the terrible thing. People don't even have to memorize what the president said. They don't have to chant their dumb mantras. All they are is a mouthpiece for the algorithm. They're letting the algorithm do the thinking for them, do the speaking for them. So instead of just getting the constant response of, well, Brondo has what plants need, you get a very long, lengthy, detailed explanation about why Brondo has what plants crave. And they think, wow, this is really intelligent. This sounds really smart. Has a whole lot more information than I could ever give. So here, I'll just take a screenshot of it and I'll show it to you. See, here's your proof. The brain is obsolete, folks. It's gone. It's done. Kids have even said in recent days, why should I learn anything? All I have to do is Google it. All I have to do is look it up with AI. America, Western society, it's toast. Once people stop thinking on any level, and start relying on the algorithm to tell them what to think, what to believe, they are beyond vulnerable. The hand is in the puppet. They cannot think for themselves. They cannot reason. They can't even learn. They're incapable of even learning because they never work the brain. And all the powers that be, the manipulators have to do is make sure that the algorithm is pushing a specific message, a specific agenda, saying specific things. And people will mindlessly, unthinkingly, unquestioningly accept the algorithm. We've reached a dystopian era, or at least the dawn of the dystopian era, in which AI is God. AI has become God. And as time goes on, it's going to become more and more obvious. It's really infuriating for me. It's very sad. Western society isn't going to survive this. It's not. It's over. It's done. We've reached a new era. And yeah, you're going to have your handfuls of holdouts who don't bow to the algorithm, such as myself, and those who raise their children to distrust the algorithm. But I think of it this way. During the Dark Ages, when the Roman Catholic Church held sway over Europe and forbade the reading and teaching of Scripture, you had those holdouts like the Waldensians and others who lived in the Alps and hid out and tried to show people what Scripture had to say. What saith the Lord, not what saith the Pope. They were persecuted. They were a minority. But they were the ones who kept the spark alive until the Reformation. And then that spark became a wildfire. I think we've reached an era where just basic thinking, basic brain function, is that spark that we need to keep alive until whatever time God has decreed. That we start using our brains again. We're entering a new dark ages. No, we're not entering it. We're in there. We've crossed the threshold. The door's closed. We're in. Read books, people. Read books. Old books, especially. Reading articles about how AI companies are buying old books in bulk, using them to train their algorithms and then destroying them. Buy old books. Read. Read. Learn to think. Learn to reason. Logic, said the professor. Why don't they teach logic in these schools anymore? I'll tell you why. Because mindless slaves are the goal. Don't be a slave. Don't be a slave to the algorithm. Learn to think. Anyway, that's my random thought for the day. Have a good one.